Okay, now we obtained our sequence conservation scores and we downloaded it. I will try to show the files in my folder. I have my protein, just one chain of my protein, and I have a Shannon entropy file, joint Shannon entropy file for conservation of sequences. Now let's see the content of this file with less. Okay. Okay, as you can see, the first line is the sequences in your protein, chain A of your protein. The second line is number of residue IDs, residue numbering basically. Now, when you go to the third line, you will see that the first two columns are also like that. This is basically a tabular data format. You can open it with pandas or with any other or directly with Python to obtain just this part, just the numbers part. What I need is basically for Correlationplus is a pure matrix, not the identities, not the first two columns and the first two rows. So I have to remove them. Of course, there are many methods to remove them, but I will just try to do it with command line stuff. Now, what I will do is, first, let's determine how many residues we have. Okay, I will say grid count, C alpha atoms, and let's see how many residues. We have 310 residues in chain A. So we should have a 310 by 310 matrix. What can we do to do that? We will get, as I said, we don't need the first two lines. Therefore, I will get last 310 lines. Therefore, first two rows are deleted from the matrix in this way. And I will pipe this to cut. I want the fields starting from 3 to 312. And then I will forward it to a matrix scores. Okay, let's say pure matrix. That. Okay, let's check. We have a new file, Shannon WPH scores pure matrix. Now we can do everything that we do typically with Correlationplus. Let's call Correlationplus here. Visualize. I want to visualize first, and let's just do a help quickly. Okay, as you can see, we need an input file for correlation matrix. Here it says dynamical cross correlation, but it doesn't have to be. You can do the sequence analysis also. And we need a protein file or in PDB format. Now, obviously, let's clean it. We have all the elements. And for the input file, I will do this one, Shannon entropy. And for the PDB file, I will use this one. Okay, I will use just this one. You can do a very quick analysis in this way, but I want to impose more conditions. For example, I just want residues with a certain distance, or I want in particular, let's say, the correlations in this system bigger than 15 angstrom. Let's try to plot it. And here I will say that type of the matrix is linear mutual information matrix, because Shannon entropy also here is between 0 and 1. Linear mutual information is also between 0 and 1. And I will just say run. Of course, you may have to, okay, let's see what do we have. First, what do we have? We have overall correlations plotted for us. Let's do that. You can see now the conservation or Shannon entropy conservation, let's call it in this way, between residues in this protein. Of course, there are some high locations, as you can see from here, 130, or just below 130, there are some particularly high correlation locations. But more than that, I would like to see their distributions. Now, let's take a look to here, correlation, absolute correlation versus distance. Let's open this one. Okay, as you can see, Shannon entropy gives quite high correlations, and I put 15 angstrom. Obviously, this is distance versus your Shannon and joint Shannon entropy. In fact, I put 15 angstrom, but you can see there are much beyond 15 angstrom. So I will put, for example, 80 angstrom, and or we can still keep 50 angstrom. We can try to see this region, particularly this region. What can we do? Let's select a higher cutoff value and obtain the correlations on the structure in this way. Okay. And we have a tickle file, but this tickle file will be quite crowded. I don't want that. Let's do recalculation. Let's do, for example, 50 angstrom. And the value, I can put a value filter. I want, for example, more than 0.9. Okay. Now, the first figures will not change, but the tickle file will change. Let's do VMD execute correlation general, and let's try to see the correlations on protein structure. Of course, I mean, biological meanings that you are looking for, biological questions that you are looking for will change. But for me, for example, this still looks crowded. I can try to make it a very 95, for example. I don't want a crowded plot. I just want the top part. Okay, let's go and again. Okay, now let's try to see. Okay, for me, for example, the residue here in particular is very important. Leucine 234, and any long distance correlations between these residue and the upper domain is important for me. Of course, for the question that you are looking for, it can be different parts of it, and you can put different distance and value conditions there. Okay, thank you for watching. Have a great day.